These fines have been in place since very near the beginning of the last term. And as a member of that local trust committee, staff brought us a recommendation that we introduce what was called the Municipal Information Ticketing System, if I remember the full name correctly. And they presented us with a list of all the infractions and all the fines. And as a new trustee, I read this and went, oh man, I don't know about this. And the staff recommended this because it was going to be a way of providing an interim step between landowners not complying with the provisions of the bylaw and taking them to court, which is very expensive for both parties. So we looked at other jurisdictions. I said, oh my God, like there's a lot of infractions here. And so you look at other jurisdictions, and the suggestion, or at least implication, was made earlier that somehow the trust has got all of these micromanaged fines, and I'll tell you, go off and look at other jurisdictions and look at what their fines are like and what their infractions are like in their land use bylaw. And you won't find that this is draconian or onerous or anything like that. Go look, because I did. And you'll find very long lists of fines. And these, as I said, have been in place since, I'm not sure if it was 2000.
So what?
Excuse me, I'm speaking now. Is that okay with you?
Go ahead.
They've been in place since, I'm not sure what it was 2006 or 2007 when we put in those the system of fines that was meant to be an interim step between voluntary compliance and spend a fortune taking somebody to court. In fact, in the whole period of time since all of these fines were introduced back then, not one ticket has been issued on Salt Spring Island.
So get rid of the bylaw.
What that means is that as a tool, it allows the bylaw enforcement officer to go to the person and say, you know, you're subject to this kind of fine if you don't comply. They've never had to impose the fine, and there is a mechanism for doing so. What we are looking at today that's new, and it's really the only thing that's new, is the method of adjudication of this fine. Right now, there are no discounts, there is no compliance agreement, there is no way to deal with that. And other municipalities, other jurisdictions, Bowen, for example, and Miles has mentioned other municipalities on the North Shore, have put this in place, and they find that it works well for both their landowners and themselves. That's what's new today. The fines are not new, the infractions are not new. And that's the situation. Now,
there will be no specific change in the style of enforcement. People who are concerned about whether or not there's going to be a new wave of enforcement don't necessarily need to be. One of the major complaints that I receive on a daily basis, and I know other people that work for the trust are, is why we don't enforce our bylaws, and it's about minor issues. We go to court at the moment on major issues. We use a civil court, and it's very costly.
So I would like to move that the Salt Spring Island Local Trust Committee give first reading to draft bylaw 446, the bylaw notice enforcement bylaw.
You're looking for money.
Is there any discussion? Are you ready to vote? All those in favor?
Boo.